Mr. President, thank you very much for that enthusiastic introduction. I am here. Once again, it's the end of the week. At least in the Senate, it's the end of the week, not for the rest of America. But when we end up here on our work for Thursday afternoon, I usually try and do a story about what I refer to as the Alaskan of the week. Hopefully everybody can see this photo. We've included our Alaskan of the week's picture here. This is a really good one. If you're watching anywhere in Alaska, I hope, across America. Now, the reporters usually like this speech because it signals the end of their week. Normally, we have a crowd of press in the gallery. Maybe not so much today. But, so it's about somebody who's done something good for their community, for their state, or maybe for their country. Mr. President, in this Alaskan of the week, it's actually someone who did something for the world. The world. Save the world. Stay tuned, no exaggeration. Now, I always like to give an update on what's happening back home. We're getting covered in snow, tons and tons of snow. Sun's starting to come back. Had a very cold and snowy winter. Iditarod is right around the corner, last great race. Senator Murkowski and I will talk about that soon. It's a beautiful time of year if you love the outdoors, skiing, snow machining. So, come visit Alaska. That's what I always do, make the pitch. And people don't know this, Mr. President, but Alaska is also an incredibly diverse state. In fact, Anchorage, my hometown, the state's largest city, is home to the country's 3 most diverse census tracts, racially in terms of nationalities. By the way, the 4th most diverse is Queens, New York. More diverse than Queens, New York in terms of race, ethnicities, nationalities. So we're very proud of our diversity. More than 100 languages spoken in our schools. Those are native languages, other languages, foreign languages. We are diverse. We're very patriotic. In fact, Alaska is home to more veterans per capita than any state in the country. White, black, Asian American, Alaska Native, all different races make up that key part of Alaska's heritage, military service. By the way, if you're watching the news, you know there's a lot going on over Alaska right now, but I just want to say a word about our military, active duty and National Guard and Reserve forces. Think about what our guys and women have done the last 2 weeks. Tracked, intercepted this big Russian spy balloon, tracked, intercepted at least 2 of these smaller unidentified objects, shot 2 of them down, the one over Alaska, the one in Canada, those were shot down by Alaskan forces into Canada. And then, Mr. President, in the last 4 nights, these same forces have gone and intercepted 2 different Russian Bear bombers and fighters, Russian fighters, who are trying to get into our airspace. This is 2 weeks. These are not easy missions. They're very difficult, challenging missions. You know what else wasn't an easy mission? Storming the beaches of Normandy, Mr. President. Storming the beaches of Normandy. I have a little picture here. And that's why I want to get to our Alaskan of the week. A very special, very patriotic Alaskan, World War II veteran, Mr. R.C. Roberts. I can think of no better way to cap off Black History Month than to recognize Mr. Roberts, his service to our country, and help him and his family celebrate his 100th birthday. How about a round of applause, America, for Mr. Roberts' 100th birthday, a Normandy, D-Day, Omaha Beach veteran. He celebrated that on Tuesday, Valentine's Day, 100 years old. So who is Mr. Roberts? And let's hear a little bit about the life that he's lived in full. Like I said, Mr. President, that's him. That's him, our Alaskan of the week on the poster board. Handsome young man, saving the world, literally, And originally born in Garrison, Texas in 1923, imagine that, 100 years ago. According to letters written by friends, he worked on a family farm, left school early in life, and joined the Army when he was just 18, shortly after the start of World War II. He wanted to go fight for his country, and he did fight. Mr. President, many Americans have seen the movies about D-Day. Again, here's a photo. Our brave soldiers hitting the beaches at Normandy, facing unbelievable heavy fire, having to navigate mined obstacles on the beach, mines on the bluffs, Germans dug in with machine guns. You've seen the beginning. I'm sure many of you have Saving Private Ryan. Okay? Seawalls to climb. That's what he did. That's what he did for America, for freedom. The largest, most complex combined airborne amphibious military invasion in world history. Mr. Roberts, our Alaskan of the week, was there on Omaha Beach in 1944. He eventually marched all the way into Germany with the U.S. Army, all the way across Europe. Mr. President, he was part of the heroic mission that saved the world. That is not an exaggeration. Mr. Roberts served 3 years, was awarded the European Campaign Medal with 3 Bronze Stars, representing 3 difficult battles across Europe that he fought in. And here's the thing, Mr. President, you got to remember this. It's 1944. Our military was fully segregated, and black soldiers were discriminated against. In fact, it took until 1948 for President Harry Truman to order the armed forces to be integrated, 16 years before the passage of the Civil Rights Act. But this patriot, despite the discrimination, was fighting for America. How did Mr. Roberts make it through these ordeals, incredible ordeals of fire? Prayer, he said, quote, "Every day I prayed. And when I got home, I was so grateful to be back in the United States." Mr. President, when he got out of the military, he made his way back to Texas, then to California. He had a friend who was in Alaska, told him his skills were needed up in the great state of Alaska, and it was 1964. Our state had just been devastated by the largest earthquake ever recorded in North America, second largest earthquake ever recorded in the history of the world, 9.2 on the Richter scale. Our Good Friday earthquake, 1964, tsunamis, crushed buildings, fortunately killed a lot of people. There was a lot of rebuilding to done, so Mr. Roberts, who at this point was a cement mason, made his way north to Alaska, north to the future. He worked all across the state, helping rebuild it, Fairbanks, Kenai, Valdez, the Aleutian Island chain. He literally helped lay pavement for the construction of what is now Ted Stevens International Airport in Anchorage. He bought a house in Chugiak, Alaska, outside of Anchorage, met and married the love of his life, Joan, in 1970 in Anchorage. They joined the Eagle River Missionary Baptist Church, where they remain, and he remains an active member at the tender age of 100. Together for more than 40 years, before Joan passed, they raised 4 generations of children and had a wonderful life together. Like I said, Mr. President, Tuesday, Valentine's Day, February 14th, was Mr. Roberts' 100th birthday. I had the honor of calling him, wishing him a happy birthday, talking a little bit about his heroic service, thanking him for his heroic service. The day after his birthday, he got caught up with his friend Darrell Little. Mr. Roberts and Mr. Little have been friends, best friends, for more than 40 years. Darrell was visiting Mr. Roberts, making him his favorite meal for his birthday, a beef tongue sandwich. Sounds pretty good. Darrell described Mr. Roberts as a loyal citizen who served his country bravely with honor and distinction. That is what being Alaskan of the Week is all about. Darrell asked Mr. Roberts what he wanted to say about his extraordinary life, and here's what Mr. Roberts said just 2 days ago. He loves Alaska. He wouldn't trade his time in the state for anything else in the world, even with all the snow we're having this winter. He also said it was such a great honor to serve his country, and he thanked God for blessing him. Sounds like an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy. I just spoke to him. So, Mr. Roberts, thank you for your service. Thank you for helping rebuild Alaska. Thank you for living and leading such an exemplary life, 100 years. Thank you as we move into Black History Month for showing an example. Young man, patriotic, despite systemic discrimination against him, fought the evil Nazi regime heroically, valiantly, part of the greatest generation who literally saved the world. So, Mr. Roberts, happy birthday. And I know you are also happy about one of the most prestigious awards you can ever get, Alaskan of the Week. We wish you well, sir.